Functional programming is a method by which a lot of programmers code and is already part of a lot of programming languages, and it's meant to reduce the number of bugs you have in your code by making it slightly more readable. My name is Adi. I'm a software engineer at Amazon, and in this video, I'm going to explain what functional programming does. Now, functional programming believes in pure functions or higher class or first class citizen functions, which basically mean that each function does one job and it doesn't call other functions within it. So you're not going to have a function with a bunch of other methods or functions within it. And that makes understanding what each part is doing slightly easier. Now, you might still need to have multiple functions without having just like huge amounts of spaghetti code. And so how do you do that? You have something called higher order functions, which allow you to input a function into another function. Now, when I first learned about this was very confusing, but what it essentially means is you can actually apply a transformation to a series of elements. For example, let's take for JavaScript, for example, you have .map, .filter, .for each, which basically takes an array, which is a data structure that holds a bunch of elements or pieces of data and information, and it applies a effect to them. So take an array of cars, and for each, expand their trunk size, right? But that expand their trunk size needs to be another function. So what you could do is you could do like cars dot for each, and then you could do within it basically another function where you are essentially applying the change. And so this allows you to chain some functions or have one function part of another. Now, speaking of chaining functions, you also have something called composition as part of functional programming, which allows you to chain functions so that they look sequential. So it would be like when creating a car, it might be like draw a car dot, and then like it would be like assemble team dot, and then you continue going forward. And what happens is you end up getting like all your functions in one line or like in just one series, one chain, and it makes it really easy to process. A lot of the different programming like paradigms of object-oriented functional, they're only meant to just make your job easier so you can process and mind map the information and code base you're working on. And then lastly, you have immutability in functional programming, which means your data structures don't change. It actually, functional programming believes that hardware is cheap like memory and you can use a lot of it. So instead of just changing your array, they just give you a new array using more of your memory. And that makes it so your data doesn't like get manipulated without you understanding what's happening. It's always like clean data, but it uses up a lot more hardware, which is fine because hardware is cheap now. And that's all there is to functional programming.